1969, rock music gave us those songs, the anthems that carried our hopes, our heartbreaks, and our dreams for a better tomorrow. These weren't just songs. They were lifelines in a time of change, reminding us that even in chaos, music could heal, unite, and inspire. Let 1969 remind you of the power of a song to touch the soul. Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles is a heartfelt anthem of hope and renewal, written by George Harrison. During a difficult period, the song reflects his personal escape from stress and the promise of brighter days ahead. Its message is simple yet profound. No matter how heavy life's challenges may feel, the sun will rise again, bringing warmth, clarity, and new beginnings. It's a reminder to persevere through tough times, embrace change, and trust that light will always follow darkness. Keep moving forward. Better days are just around the corner. The track's innovative use of the Moog synthesizer, played by Harrison himself, marked one of the first times the instrument appeared on a Beatles recording. The gentle, arpeggiated guitar work, combined with Harrison's warm vocals, created an atmosphere of hope and renewal that resonated with audiences weary from the turbulent decade. Whole Lotta Love by Led Zeppelin is a bold declaration of passion and intensity. With its electrifying riff and primal energy, the song captures an unfiltered, unapologetic desire to pursue what you want with full force. It's a motivational reminder to tap into your inner power, embrace your raw energy, and go after your dreams with confidence and intensity. Just like the song's groundbreaking sound, don't be afraid to break barriers and make your mark. Jimmy Page's iconic riff, built around a distinctive chromatic descent, became the template for countless rock songs that followed. The recording process was revolutionary for its time, with Page employing backward echo effects and innovative studio techniques that would influence producers for decades. Whole Lotta Love reached number 4 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, becoming Led Zeppelin's highest-charting single in America. The song's influence extended far beyond the charts. It became the template for arena rock, inspiring everyone from Deep Purple to Black Sabbath to push the boundaries of volume and intensity. The song also faced some controversy, as in 1985, Dixie filed a lawsuit against Led Zeppelin in New York, alleging the band infringed his copyright by stealing You Need Love and releasing it as Whole Lotta Love. Born from a simple acoustic guitar pattern strummed by Keith Richards in a Brazilian hotel room, Honky Tonk Women became the Rolling Stones' most successful single of the 1960s. The song's genesis reveals the band's ability to transform a casual musical moment into rock and roll gold. Charlie Watts's distinctive drum pattern, featuring a driving backbeat and strategic use of cowbell, created the song's infectious groove. The interplay between Richards' rhythm guitar and Taylor's melodic fills demonstrated the chemistry that would fuel the Stones' golden period of the early 1970s. Released in July 1969, Honky Tonk Women reached number 1 in both the UK and US, becoming the band's 4th chart topper in America. The song's success helped establish the Stones as the world's premier rock and roll band, a title they've never relinquished. Honky Tonk Women by the Rolling Stones is a celebration of living life unapologetically and embracing the wild, carefree moments. Rooted in a bluesy swagger, the song reflects spontaneity, adventure, and the thrill of breaking free from routine. Its message? Life is too short to play it safe. Take risks, enjoy the ride, and savor every unforgettable experience along the way, because those moments are what make life truly rock and roll. Pete Townshend's Pinball Wizard emerged from the ambitious concept of Tommy the Who's groundbreaking rock opera. Written specifically to win over influential music critic Nick Cohn, who was known for his love of pinball, the song became one of the band's most enduring anthems. The recording sessions at IBC Studios in London captured The Who at their creative peak. Townshend's acoustic guitar work, combined with Keith Moon's explosive drumming and John Entwistle's melodic bass lines, created a sound that was both delicate and powerful. The addition of French horn, played by session musicians, added an orchestral dimension that elevated the track beyond typical rock arrangements. Roger Daltrey's vocal performance perfectly captured the character of the deaf, dumb, and blind kid who becomes a pinball champion. His delivery balanced vulnerability with triumph, making the song's protagonist both sympathetic and heroic. The song's cultural impact extended far beyond music. The 1975 film adaptation of Tommy, directed by Ken Russell, brought Pinball Wizard to an even wider audience, with Elton John delivering a memorable performance of the song while wearing outrageous platform boots. Pinball Wizard by The Who is a triumphant tale of unexpected greatness. It tells the story of a boy, deaf, dumb, and blind, who overcomes his limitations to become a legendary pinball champion. By 1969, the Doors were seeking to expand their sound beyond the blues rock foundation that had defined their early work. Touch Me represented this evolution.
Touch me, babe. Can't you see that I am not afraid?
Incorporating brass arrangements and a more commercially accessible approach while retaining the band's distinctive edge. The song was primarily written by Robbie Krieger, showcasing his growing confidence as a songwriter within the band. The addition of session musicians, including members of Elvis Presley's touring band, gave the track a fuller, more orchestrated sound than typical Doors recordings. Jim Morrison's vocal performance on Touch Me demonstrated his versatility as a frontman. Rather than the shamanic intensity of songs like Light My Fire, Morrison delivered a more controlled, seductive performance that still carried his characteristic charisma. The track reached number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming the Doors' third top 10 hit. Its success helped establish the band's commercial viability while proving they could evolve their sound without losing their essential identity. The supergroup Blind Faith, featuring Eric Clapton, Steve Winwood, Ginger Baker, and Rick Grech, represented one of rock's most promising collaborations. Steve Winwood's Can't Find My Way Home became the group's most enduring contribution to rock history, a haunting acoustic ballad that showcased the band's more introspective side. Recorded at Olympic Studios in London, the song featured Winwood's delicate acoustic guitar work and soulful vocals, complemented by Clapton's tasteful electric guitar fills. The track's arrangement was deliberately sparse, allowing space for the emotional weight of the lyrics to resonate. The song's structure, built around a simple but effective chord progression, demonstrated Winwood's songwriting maturity. His vocal performance conveyed a sense of spiritual searching that reflected the broader cultural questioning of the late 1960s. Despite Blind Faith's brief existence, Can't Find My Way Home has endured as a classic of the era. The song has been covered by numerous artists, including Alison Krauss and Robert Plant, testament to its timeless appeal and emotional resonance. The track perfectly captured the bittersweet mood of 1969, a year when optimism and disillusionment existed in constant tension. Its influence can be heard in the acoustic-based work of artists from Neil Young to the Black Crowes. John Fogerty's Fortunate Son emerged from his anger at the class-based inequalities of the Vietnam War era. Written in just 20 minutes, the song became one of the most powerful protest anthems of the 1960s, its 3-chord structure carrying a message that resonated far beyond its musical simplicity. The recording at Wally Heider Studios in San Francisco captured CCR at their most focused and urgent. Fogerty's snarling vocals and aggressive guitar work were supported by the tight rhythm section of his brother Tom Fogerty, Stu Cook, and Doug Clifford, creating a sound that was both rootsy and revolutionary. The song's lyrics directly challenged the hypocrisy of a system that sent working-class kids to fight while the wealthy found ways to avoid service. This message struck a chord with a generation grappling with questions of fairness and justice. Fortunate Son reached number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100, but its cultural impact far exceeded its chart position. The song became an anthem for the anti-war movement and has been used in countless films and documentaries about the Vietnam era. Before the Allman Brothers Band defined Southern rock, Greg Allman wrote Whipping Post as a 19-year-old, channeling personal heartbreak into a blues rock masterpiece that would become the band's signature song. The track's raw emotional power and innovative musical arrangement helped establish the template for an entire genre. The song's distinctive 11/8 time signature, unusual in rock music, created a sense of unease that perfectly matched the lyric's emotional content. Duane Allman's slide guitar work and Dickie Betts' melodic lead lines created a dual guitar approach that would influence countless Southern rock bands. The recording captured the band's live energy, with Barry Oakley's bass work and the dual drummer attack of Butch Trucks and Jai Johanny Johansson providing a rhythmic foundation that was both complex and driving. Whipping Post became a staple of the Allman Brothers' live performances, often extended into lengthy jams that showcased the band's improvisational skills. The song's emotional intensity made it a cathartic experience for both band and audience. Robbie Robertson's The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down
Back with my wife in Tennessee, when one day she
demonstrated the band's unique ability to craft songs that felt like authentic historical documents. Written from the perspective of a Confederate soldier, the song avoided taking political sides while capturing the human cost of the Civil War. The recording at Sammy Davis Jr.'s home studio in Hollywood featured the band's characteristic blend of Americana influences. Levon Helm's Arkansas drawl gave the vocals authentic authority, while the interplay between Robertson's guitar, Rick Danko's bass, and Richard Manuel's piano created a sound that was both rootsy and sophisticated. The song's narrative structure, telling the story of Virgil Caine and his family's struggles during the war's aftermath, showcased Robertson's skills as a storyteller. The track managed to be both specific in its details and universal in its themes of loss and survival. Joan Baez's cover version reached number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1971, introducing the song to a wider audience and demonstrating its crossover appeal. The band's original version, however, remains the definitive recording. The track's influence on Americana and roots rock has been profound. Artists from Uncle Tupelo to Mumford & Sons have cited it as an inspiration, and its approach to historical songwriting has become a template for roots-based artists. Despite its upbeat, almost cheerful musical arrangement, Bad Moon Rising carried an ominous message that reflected the darker undercurrents of 1969. John Fogerty's inspiration came from the 1941 film The Devil and Daniel Webster, but the song's apocalyptic imagery resonated with contemporary anxieties about social upheaval and the Vietnam War. The recording process at RCA Studios in Hollywood was efficient and focused, reflecting CCR's workmanlike approach to making music. The song's simple but effective arrangement, featuring Fogerty's distinctive vocals and guitar work, created an immediately memorable sound that was both accessible and unsettling. The track's 3-chord structure and driving rhythm made it perfect for radio play, helping it reach number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. Its success demonstrated CCR's ability to package complex emotions in deceptively simple musical arrangements. Bad Moon Rising has become one of the most recognizable songs of the Vietnam era, its combination of catchy melody and dark lyrics creating a perfect soundtrack for uncertain times. The song has been featured in numerous films and television shows, often used to evoke the mood of the late 1960s. The track's influence on roots rock and alternative country has been significant. Artists from Rem to the Gourds have covered the song, and its approach to combining accessibility with substance has inspired countless songwriters. Released just days before the Apollo 11 moon landing, David Bowie's Space Oddity captured the era's fascination with space exploration while introducing themes of alienation and disconnection that would define his career. The song marked Bowie's first major success and established his reputation as a visionary artist. The recording at Trident Studios in London featured innovative use of the mellotron, creating an otherworldly atmosphere that perfectly matched the song's cosmic themes. The arrangement, with its acoustic guitar foundation and orchestral touches, created a sound that was both intimate and epic. Bowie's vocal performance introduced Major Tom, a character who would recur throughout his career. The song's narrative structure, telling the story of an astronaut's journey into space, showcased Bowie's theatrical instincts and storytelling abilities. The track reached number 5 on the UK charts, giving Bowie his first taste of commercial success. However, it would be several years before he achieved consistent chart success, making Space Oddity something of an early anomaly in his catalog. The song's influence on art rock and progressive rock has been profound. Artists from Radiohead to Arcade Fire have cited Bowie's early work as an inspiration, and Space Oddity remains a perfect example of how pop music can address complex themes without sacrificing accessibility. Neil Young's Cinnamon Girl emerged from a period of intense creativity. Written during a single day when Young was suffering from a 103-degree fever. The song's hypnotic guitar riff and impressionistic lyrics created a template for the grunge movement that would emerge 2 decades later. The recording with Crazy Horse at Wally Heider Studios in San Francisco captured the band's raw, unpolished energy. The track's distinctive guitar sound, achieved through Young's use of a 1953 Gibson Les Paul Old Black, became one of the most recognizable sounds in rock music. The song's structure, built around a simple but effective 2-note guitar pattern, demonstrated Young's ability to create maximum impact with minimal means. The interplay between Young's lead guitar and Danny Whitten's rhythm work created a wall of sound that was both primitive and sophisticated. Cinnamon Girl became a staple of Young's live performances, often extended into lengthy guitar workouts that showcased his improvisational skills. The song's enduring popularity has made it one of his most requested tracks. The track's influence on alternative rock and grunge has been significant. Bands from Sonic Youth to Pearl Jam have cited Young's guitar work as an inspiration, and Cinnamon Girl remains a perfect example of his ability to blend melody with feedback-drenched noise. King Crimson's 21st Century Schizoid Man
21st Century Schizoid Man
announced the arrival of progressive rock with the force of a sonic earthquake. The song's complex time signatures, dissonant harmonies, and apocalyptic lyrics created a sound that was both intellectually challenging and viscerally powerful. The recording at Wessex Studios in London featured the classic King Crimson lineup of Robert Fripp, Greg Lake, Ian MacDonald, Michael Giles, and Peter Sinfield. The track's innovative use of the mellotron, distorted vocals, and aggressive guitar work created a sound that was unprecedented in rock music. The song's structure, moving between quiet passages and explosive outbursts, demonstrated the band's dynamic range and compositional sophistication. The interplay between MacDonald's saxophone and Fripp's guitar created textures that had never been heard in rock music before. 21st Century Schizoid Man became the opening track of King Crimson's debut album In the Court of the Crimson King, immediately establishing the band's reputation as innovators. The song's influence on progressive rock and metal has been profound. The Stooges' I Wanna Be Your Dog stripped rock and roll down to its most primitive elements,
Forever a dog!
creating a sound that was both regressive and revolutionary. The song's 3-chord structure and repetitive lyrics anticipated punk rock by nearly a decade. The recording at Hit Factory in New York captured the band's raw energy and confrontational attitude. Iggy Pop's snarling vocals, Ron Asheton's distorted guitar work, and the relentless rhythm section created a sound that was both hypnotic and aggressive. The song's piano work, played by producer John Cale, added an unexpected element to the arrangement. Cale's avant-garde background brought a sense of artistic legitimacy to the band's primitive approach. I Wanna Be Your Dog failed to chart upon its initial release, but its influence on punk and alternative rock has been immeasurable. The song's combination of simplicity and intensity became a template for countless punk and indie rock bands. The formation of Crosby, Stills, and Nash
Cry out loud that I am lonely.
represented a new model for rock supergroups, bringing together three established artists in a democratic partnership. Stephen Stills's Sweet Judy Blue Eyes became the centerpiece of their debut album, showcasing the intricate harmonies and songwriting skills that would define their sound. The song was written for Judy Collins, with whom Stills had a romantic relationship. The track's complex structure, moving through multiple movements and key changes, demonstrated Stills' ambition as a composer and the trio's ability to handle sophisticated musical arrangements. The recording at Wally Heider Studios in Los Angeles featured the trio's distinctive three-part harmonies, supported by Stills' acoustic guitar work and subtle orchestral arrangements. The track's blend of folk, rock, and pop elements created a sound that was both accessible and musically sophisticated. The song's success helped establish Crosby, Stills, and Nash as one of the premier vocal groups of the era. Their debut album reached number 6 on the Billboard 200, and Sweet Judy Blue Eyes became a staple of classic rock radio. The track's influence on harmony-based rock has been significant. Artists from the Eagles to Fleet Foxes have cited CSN's vocal arrangements as an inspiration, and Sweet Judy Blue Eyes remains a masterclass in group singing and songwriting craft. And there you have it. 15 revolutionary tracks from 1969 that didn't just soundtrack a year, they soundtracked a transformation. From the Beatles' Farewell to Innocence to the Stooges' Assault on Convention, from Bowie's Cosmic Visions to CCR's protest anthems, these songs captured a world in the midst of profound change.